What do you think happens in Russia when Putin, after all of this has transpired, with a permanent break, certainly in the relations with the United States, and active hostility and conflict with NATO, what happens to Russia after Putin?
Putin basically is preoccupied with demography and Russia's demographic decline. He was repeating recently several times that if it was not for the revolution, if it was not for the World War II, if it was not for the disintegration of the Soviet Union, there are going to be 500 million Russians in the world. But now in Russia, there are less than 145 million people. So this fear of a shrinking population that is populating one of the biggest territories in the world, in my view, this is also hard to understand where all this anxiety comes from. This is becoming a problem for Russia itself. And one of the problems with Putin is that he's not allowing basically Russians to talk openly of how post-Putin Russia can look like. One of the real risks that we all face, Russia first, but also all of us, is that also many people outside of Russia, particularly in the West, are now treating Russia in the way you're treating the Chernobyl nuclear reactor after the accident. The only thing that matters is to isolate it. This is not containment. Containment is a form of engagement. If you see what Europeans are talking about, we want an economy that does not rely at all on Russian gas and oil. We basically want to make clear that there are not going to be a movement of people. We want basically reduce the relations. As a result of it, in a certain way, particularly the West starts to dream about the world without Russia. And in a certain way, now Russia started to dream about the world without West, but Russia was much more part of this Western world than anything else. China is a very reliable and important ally now, but I have not seen many kind of Russians that are culturally attracted by China. It's simply very far. It's very
And there's
different.
no infrastructure, there's very
Yeah,
little
yeah,
trade
yeah, and it's
compared to the
totally
West. I mean,
different.
it's just not there.
Yeah, so from this point of view, paradoxically, the result of all this is that what Russia is getting is a COVID forever, the quarantine. You're staying in your house. You cannot get out. And you have this sense of claustrophobia, and also some of your best people are leaving. If you see how many IT people has left the country for the last 2 or 3 months, this is an issue.
Hundreds of thousands, yeah.
Hundreds of thousands. So in a certain way, you can survive because you're a nuclear power. So you cannot be defeated in conventional terms. But then you're a country which cannot even dreaming about your own future. And this is a problem. By the way, it's a problem for the West, not only for Russia. I do believe that we also lost the capacity to imagine a different Russia. I do believe that different Russia is probably possible, but this is the Putin effect. While the Soviet leaders wanted their mummified bodies to be put in the mausoleum, I do believe that Putin succeeded to mummify the body of Russia itself.